Hi, I'm Ella. I'm the current president of the Union of Jewish Students, and welcome to this year's presidential election.
Hi, I'm Hannah Brady and I'm running to be your UJS President. I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne and I currently live in London, so I've studied at 2 universities here. I did history at King's College London for my undergrad, and I'm now doing Hebrew and Jewish studies at UCL, and I also studied at the University of Toronto.
Hannah Brady.
Hello.
You are candidate for President of the Union of Jewish Students. What sort of person is Hannah Brady?
So I would say that I'm quite loud, I'm quite conversational, and I love to talk to people. And so I think what I can therefore bring to UJS is wanting to talk to people and wanting to hear your opinion. So that's the kind of person I am, very chatty.
Your studies are about what subjects?
So I study Hebrew and Jewish studies, which is quite transferable to the Union of Jewish Students, and I specialise in looking at gender in Israeli society. So those are some really interesting issues that might be interesting to other students.
Right. Where do you come from?
I come from Newcastle upon Tyne, which is quite far north, but I've also lived in Manchester and I've been living in London now. This is my 4th year living in London.
Right. And your plans after university eventually resurface after UJS?
This is a question I'm never very good at answering. I'm considering going back to do a PhD, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So my parents would probably also quite like to know the answer to that question.
But you're going to be an eternal student?
Potentially. We'll find out.
Your first degree was what?
My first degree was history.
And which bits of history did you like best?
I mainly did Jewish history, and I did a little bit of film history, so
Right.
I kind of got into looking at how films are made and what they mean.
Some people might think all this was a bit sort of overly focused on Jewish community. Do you have any interest outside the community?
I do have interest outside of the community. I'm an avid cook. I'm cooking all day long.
Jewish food?
Sometimes not Jewish food. Sometimes. But yeah, I would say I think growing up in Newcastle, I grew up very far away from the Jewish world. And so since I've had the opportunity, I've really thrown myself into that kind of wider community that I didn't always have access to.
Did you go to school in Newcastle?
Yes.
So not a Jewish school?
Not a Jewish school. I could have gone to Gateshead, but that would have been quite a different type of education.
What are the things that you really enjoy doing in Jewish student life?
So one of the things I really enjoy, I spoke about food, so I really enjoy engaging with events, with having students together eating around a table, and you can have the most amazing conversations with people who you've never met before, just over food. And I think that it's something that the Jewish community is excellent at engaging with food, with dinner, and it's a really key moment for how we progress as a community and how we develop and the arguments that we come up with and what we talk about. And I've also really enjoyed being involved with campaigns. So I created a campaign called Rethink last year that opposed Israel Apartheid Week. And what was really amazing from that is seeing the number of people that wanted to engage with their identity, wanted to engage in politics, wanted to engage with their student union. And that was really something that I wasn't expecting, and I was really, really pleased to see happen.
Are you at ease communicating with people who don't come from the Jewish world, with non-Jewish people?
Yeah, so most of my time at university, most of my friends were actually non-Jewish. And so I feel that I've spent quite a long time feeling almost as if I've had to behave slightly as a representative, because when you're the only Jew in a group, often the things that you do are perceived by others to be what Jewish people do. And certainly growing up in Newcastle, that was very much the way that I felt about myself. And that had a massive impact on the way that my own Jewish identity developed. But I love having non-Jewish friends, and I love being able, especially having a lot of international students in London, being able to really grab onto and understand different people's cultures and how it all comes together in Britain to create this amazing cross-communal, country that we have here, where you can really take so much just by leaving your house, and on your street there can be so many things you've never seen before that you can.
Are you confident about the Jewish future in this country?
Yeah, it depends what day, what I'm thinking on what day. Some days I wake up and I think, I never want to leave Britain, there's an amazing future here, we've got an amazing history here, which is obviously something I'm very interested in. But then there are other times, like this summer, where it was very difficult, and I was in Israel leading Israel tour for BBYO and for Hana Hatzioni this summer. And being there with a lot of Jewish students was very interesting, sort of seeing how do we bring Britain into that relationship that the kids in our community are having with Israel. And I think it's a difficult question.
And how do you engage with Israel yourself?
So for me, I think it can be quite academic, because I have to read a lot and engage on quite a high level, and other times with the campaign it's incredibly emotional. And growing up in a youth movement, I've been in Hana Hatzioni since I was about 8 or 9, my relationship with Israel, as many Jewish students' relationships are, is incredibly emotional. And it can be difficult as a master's student separating the two. And it's difficult to say whether we should have to or not. But that's kind of often a question that runs through all of my studies.